Today's podcast episode is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to add our podcast in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Folks, welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I'm your host, Conrad Cushman, joined tonight by my esteemed colleague, Derek, a.k.a. D, BKA Dirty.
Dirty.
I ain't got nothing else. We are here to review AEW Dynamite, the May 19th, 2021 show. We have a lot to talk about tonight, some concerning what happened on the show tonight, and I think we also need to talk about this AEW deal that just got announced today by Tony Khan on Busted Open Radio. There is a lot to talk about, and this show is nothing without fan interaction. So those in the chat, those watching on Periscope, on Twitter, on the great gaming channel, Twitch, thank you for joining us. Let's go to the intro, and then we're going to get ready to talk some pro wrestling. So thank you.
Everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people. The best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin. The opinion and the lesson, yes. Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
All right. We are back. We've got a lot to talk about with AEW Dynamite tonight. It's been a very, very exciting day, I think, for wrestling news and wrestling in general, bro.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We got a lot to talk about. We'll get into it. But first, we got to give a shout out to the chat who is in here. First one to leave a comment. I know he wrote it before the show even began, but I got to show some love to my man, Original Biggie, OB1. Original Biggie, thank you so much for joining us, bro. I've been peeping the streams. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you for being the first one in here. B-Boy Skyline Rose sneaker jacked in reference to the main event. We'll get there. Absolutely great. We've also got BJ in the house. What's going on, BJ? He wrote, whoop, whoop. What's happening, BJ? Thank you so much for joining us. We're not going to address that right now. John L. Jackson is also in the chat. What's good? Thank you so much for joining us. My brother, Sean Hubbard, a.k.a. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. He has you covered for all the best in combat sports. You always got to show love, man. Part of the six-pack with me. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And he even said, what up, bro? Thank you. Ace in the house, one of the mods in the chat. Ace, what's good, bro? Thank you. Rob said, great seeing the Bucks get jacked. Terrible. Best ending. I still think Sue's ending might be over that one slightly. Jesus De Leon. What's going on, Jesus? Sup, Conrad? Sup, Derek? Appreciate you. Let's see here. I'm all here for Mox and Kingston stripping the belts from those Bucks. The Bucks have heat, man. But I appreciate you joining us in here, man. Yeah, you got it. We'll get to that main event, bro. There's a lot to talk about with this. I can't believe how many people hate the Bucks now. It's funny, and I love it at the same time because they definitely deserve it, man.
Right.
Lots and lots to get into when it comes to this. Derek, I guess, do you want to talk about the TNT deal first?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Or, I'm sorry, the lack of TNT deal. I'm saying this all wrong. So, earlier today, Tony Khan was on Busted Open Radio, Dave LaGreca, and I believe Mark Henry was the other person he was on there with. And we have news, and I'm pulling it up right now so that way I can quote properly a lot of the stuff here. And, dude, this is absolutely crazy for what has happened. AEW announced in 2022 that they are going to be moving over to TBS. So if you guys don't know, TBS, TNT, they are all under one big umbrella, Warner Media. So they're all owned by the same company, basically. Tony Khan has been getting bumped for the NBA playoffs. He's getting bumped next week for the NBA playoffs. And with this new hockey deal that's coming in, things are going to get a little bit sticky for AEW. And Tony Khan said, bro, I will make the move if the offer is right.
Right.
Well,
it was right.
The offer must have been right. And I'm going to read this from Wrestling Inc. Going to show them some love for this. It says the NHL factored into the decision. As noted earlier, Warner Media announced today that a new show, AEW Rampage, will premiere Friday, August 13th. The 1 hour show will air each Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is going to be the secondary show, a new 1 hour show. Tony Khan said he was offered to go 3 hours, and he declined. He said, no, I do not want to go 3 hours. Why is that, Derek? Derek loves Monday Night Raw, by the way, so this is why I'm asking him that. I lie. I kid.
Monday Night Raw is horrible. A 3 hour time frame is not the best.
For a weekly show, for anything.
No.
I don't care how much you love it, bro. Not good. So he declined that, and he's got a 1 hour show. So we're going to get AEW Rampage. We don't know if Friday is the final day that it's going to be on. And I think it's going to start in 2021, so August 13th, Friday the 13th. Woo! They're going to move to there, but it's going to be on TNT to start, but that's also going to move to TBS in 2022. But TNT is not asked out of this deal. TNT is going to get 4 quarterly specials, kind of like WCW when they had Clash of the Champions. They are going to have something of it. And remember that name, Battle of the Belts. I think that is going to be a nice card with all the championships on the line. Derek, we really didn't get to talk about it a lot. We shared some messages while we were both working today. But what are your thoughts on this deal? I mean, like, is it a good move? TBS, by the way, has 1 million larger of an audience than TNT, for those who don't know that.
Right. That was actually the first thing I thought about, because when you look at TBS is pretty much what? Movies?
I would say TBS is like Big Bang Theory reruns in the modern age.
Yeah, I mean, like you're not looking at anything big coming on TBS. It might come on like once in a while, but it's not consistent like TNT. So like with the NBA, when NBA is around this time, that's pretty consistent. TBS isn't built that way, and I think that's a better option for them, just because we've seen how much they've gotten bumped on TNT. And let's just be serious. TNT's attention to detail for AEW hasn't been the best.
You don't think so? I think they've done a good job promoting them during the NBA games. I think TNT's made a mark with AEW even during the basketball games, but I think that the NBA still trumps them, and it's kind of sucky to get like bounced. You know, you're doing so well and you're building momentum, but it's like you're cutting my legs out from underneath me every single time when you're like, oh, we're gonna bump you for basketball today. So sorry.
Right, and they're not even like taking small chops. It's just
right,
nice smooth cut.
I put up Sean's hot take here. We want to hear from you guys, so we're gonna go right back into the chat here before we get into the show review. The Bucks getting jacked is how you feel when you lose the Nike sneakers you wanted. Dirty. All Elite Podcast in the house. Yeah.
What up?
Big shout out to Kyle and Tiffany. They will be doing their review tomorrow, usually on the No Holds Barred Network at 7 p.m. Free plug for you guys. Got to show some love. So make sure you guys check them out as far as that goes. And Sean wanted to make it clear he means retain at the pay-per-view. BJ says it was Tony time. That intro for the segment kills me. Yeah. As soon as they said that, I definitely thought of Tony Storm from NXT. Very obvious hot take. Sean reiterates again. BJ says reports are saying AEW is going to be drawing almost 8 figures just for making the move. Tony is no fool. He's a businessman still. At the end of the day, right, bro? Like, it's what it is.
Gotta take it.
You got to make that money, bro. Big shout out to Dark Elite Eric. He said TBS the Superstation. He must be having a flashback back in the day. TBS is reruns. What? They can make a home for there. Like Thunder used to be on there. Nitro used to be on TNT, and Thunder would be on TBS. Let's see here. When they bring back WCW Saturday Night, listen, I'm not here to judge. A real hot take, Sean says, WWE Raw, I can't believe I'm saying it, but it's true, is the worst weekly wrestling show in all the major promotions. NXT, AEW, NWA Power are all better than Raw. It's a sad day. Yes, it is.
I don't know if it's a sad day.
Well, he's saying that he's probably feeling how I felt. I grew up watching it, and it was like the best show for wrestling to watch, and now it's fallen from its grace.
Still don't know if it's a sad day.
You hating, Derek. AEW Saturday Night. Darkly Eric said, I don't care about nobody's basketball. Jesus said, I'm interested to see how it goes on Friday. Yeah, Friday we're going to get a special. So next week's AEW Dynamite will be on Friday. There will be no review. But right now, Derek and Rob, I told them whoever wants to be on next Wednesday, they come around. We will try to come on here, go live. I don't know what time it'll be. I assume we'll try to go around 10 again, the usual time, right? We will either do like a retro review or maybe we'll do a Q&A. I'm not quite sure what we'll do yet. Or we have options. Let us know what you want to see at the end of the show, and we'll try to take those into consideration. Rob says those Big Bang Theory reruns will be great lead-in for viewership. This is true. Insider showing some love. What's going on, Jeff and Joe? Thank you guys so much. Big shout out to Jody and B Tazzy as well. Appreciate you guys. Darkly Eric, WWE needs a fire lit under them. More than that, bro. And B-Boy Skyline said, I could do it. Yeah. So I'm not mad. I'm really happy that they got this new deal in the works. I think we've got a lot to talk about going into it, but we're not going to see the effects of this until 2022. Let's focus on the now, the present, and let's get into this Dynamite review after Sean's comment here. Prediction show is happening on the 25th. I have a special guest lined up for that. You guys will be very interested in it. It's someone who I've been wanting to work with, and we tried to link up a couple times, and it just didn't work. And I told them they could have this one. So you guys will be interested in that special guest that we've got lined up for the 25th. Raw back in the day was the best show ever. Raw in 2021, I can barely remember to watch, is what he meant by that. We're getting lots of comments, and I'm trying to show everybody. Jocelyn in the house. What's going on, Jocelyn? Thank you for joining us. Ricky. Yo. So we open up the night with an opening contest from Christian Cage and Matt Sydal. I thought this was a tremendous back and forth match from two people who I would say have been in other companies, and they are known as workhorses. They will go in there and they will put on a good match with you and just make things very enjoyable, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was really good. Great back and forth. I couldn't go over all the moves in this, but I do have a note saying Christian does a tremendous job at slowing down the pace in these matches. I've said this before, but it really took a hold of me tonight. And I was just like, damn, Christian is good, man. He did a great job to slow down. Let's do the match. And he's not rushing through everything, because we're so used to when we're watching Dynamite to see boom, 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 go to the next spot, move, boom, 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 boom. And in this, Christian's like, slow down. We're going to make everything mean something. And I think it does a great job. And it's a nice flow, a nice feel for his matches to tell people, slow down. You don't have to do all that.
It's that education that comes in, though.
I think it's that brood. It's that if I had the music, I would play it. I swear. A TikTok is coming with the brood music with us. Find the chalice, D. Find the chalice.
Say no more.
A standing flipping senton that Sydal eventually goes for. He's been using it for weeks. He did a great job countering Christian's leg, pulls him down, goes for that flipping senton. Christian gets the knees up and hits the kill switch for the 3 count. I thought it was a tremendous matchup. And this match is really kind of building towards the what we have lined up at the pay-per-view. We do have a battle royal. We also have Team Taz, who's been involved. Well, after the match, absolute Ricky Starks comes out. Ricky. Dude, it wasn't Spanish. It wasn't even time for that. He comes out and he is talking to Christian and Matt Sydal, and he lets them know, like, hey, just because you guys think, and we know what's coming up. Here comes Team Taz. Hook comes from behind. That little punk-ass kid comes from behind, takes him out, and they begin to jump Christian and Matt. And then who comes out to make the save but Adam Hangman Page? He says, wait a second. Hold my drink, Ricky Stark, since you can't wrestle, and gets into the ring, and he is ready to beef. We see a big scuffle, and Team Taz ends up leaving everyone laying. We all asked the question, where was the Dark Order? This is probably going to be on BTE, but where was the Dark Order?
That's a good question. They
forgot about his ass. They were just like, yeah.
That's what it seemed like.
But Paige really isn't with them either. So,
but you know what? They probably figure Paige and Christian are pretty much, they can hold it down,
right?
If need be. Like, they're what? Who's they're really gonna worry about Hook?
Well, he's there. He's a distraction, man. You gotta always watch him though. Keep your eye on Hook. He's still learning the ropes. So I saw a lot of it tonight. I saw a little bit where I was just like, oh, okay, he's getting there. He's getting his presence about him. He doesn't look nervous, but Hook's doing his thing on this. They put a beat down on him here, and it was very interesting to see what happens. Oh, and by the way, afterwards, Ricky Starks definitely drinks the drink that Hangman Page handed him. We were hoping he did that.
That boy.
Spanish. That is the last time this happens on this episode, damn it. So afterwards, the announce team runs down the card. And the Varsity Blondes cut a promo on the Young Bucks. I thought it was really good. Brian Pillman Jr. bringing up his father. And even Griff Garrison talking about how he ran the Young Bucks merch table one time. Lots of money in your hands, young man. So very interesting to see that promo they cut. And we go to a commercial break. I kind of want to see what the chat is saying in here. Let's see here. Christian is needed. They both showed you they can have a good match without 1,000 flips. A masterclass. Definitely something, good point there, Dark Elite, Eric. I appreciate you saying that. Sting and Darby Allin versus Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, double or nothing in front of fans. That should be good.
It should be.
Stark's talking that ish on the mic with the fire emoji, Jesus says. Hook's got the suplexes. Don't pick on Hook. That's Derek who's wondering about him. I think one day we'll see Hook and he'll be a different man. Derek's going to be like, yeah, that's my boy right there. I like him. Watch how Derek flips. Watch. Only person he's been solid and consistent on, Paul White. That's it. And Paul White, I still like him.
That's very true.
You said you like him one time. I have it recorded somewhere. I got it recorded. Afterwards, we return from a break. Moxley and Kingston are talking about beating the brakes off the Acclaim tonight. And I like how they cut to the promo, and then they went right over to the Acclaim's promo, and they were like, oh, I know you two aren't talking. You think you're going to beat us? We're one of the best tag teams in AEW, and they are in the top 5. A lot of people are forgetting that. And Moxley and Kingston are trying to get in there to get their tag team title shot. Okay, cool. And their match is up next. Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus the Acclaim. Derek, I got to ask you about this next part here.
All right.
Moxley and Kingston come out to Wild Thing once again, but this time Tony Khan, I don't know if he got it for Dave LaGreca seriously, but they come out to Wild Thing, but it's the Major League version of the song. What do you think about Moxley switching to Wild Thing? Did you like his old theme better? Are you not a fan of the Wild? I mean, you play baseball, so you've got a lot. You probably hear that shit a lot.
Yeah, definitely heard. I've definitely heard Wild Thing. Oh God, I don't even. Yeah, I can't even put a number on it. I know I've heard it for years, especially watching Major League. Oh, come on, dude. Shout out to BJ. He just made him so mad. Well, come on, BJ. You know what? I like Moxley's theme way better. I think if we would have taken Wild Thing and put a spin on it.
Well, there's a purpose for it. It's in tribute to Onita, who had the death match that they basically copied from when they had the death match at Revolution. So that was the original purpose of it. This week, though, I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? So I don't know if Moxley requested it or what, but
he might have. I just don't. It doesn't fit them per se. So I would need like a little bit of a twist to it, just to keep like the rock part of it, but throw like for Moxley you got the rock part of it. Then for Kingston you got the hip hop version to it.
You want him to come out to like walk this way, throwing the microphones. But actually, you know what? This is a good transition. Speaking of rap, Max Caster comes out with his raps. Now, Derek hasn't been a fan. Max, I thought, delivered tonight. And I believe BJ thought the same thing here. He said Max Caster had the intro tonight. Max Caster came out, and Tony Khan said I heard him practicing a little bit for this. And he was like, it's good. He's got some fire for us this week. And Max Caster comes out, and the best lines to me were he said Eddie Kingston looks like a box of Newports. and he said John Moxley's girl has been trying to hit him up to give him some oral sessions, and that's the name of Renee Young's podcast. Okay. And shout out to Tony Khan for also zooming in on Moxley's face like you promised in that same interview. They were like, you're going to zoom in on Moxley's face when they say this stuff, right? He was like, absolutely. Well, that led to kind of a brawl in this matchup. This was not what everyone was expecting, not what everybody was used to. This was a fight between these two teams here. Max Caster does a nice dragon screw off of the second rope onto, I believe it was Kingston.
Yeah.
Really good stuff here. And then we find out next week's Dynamite is Friday, May 29th. As we brought up before, Moxley attempts a move from the top rope. It looked like he was going to go for the paradigm shift off the top, but he ended up getting double teamed. And I like how they teased that, and Anthony Bowens helped Max Caster. He had his back. And then they do the old switcheroo. This is something that the Acclaim have been getting away with on Dark or any program. They threw the chain into Anthony Bowens, but before he could use it, the ref catches him. But that was all a diversion for them to get the boombox to go for. But Moxley ends up stealing it and using it on Max Caster. Anthony Bowens is in trouble, and, well, he gets caught with a double-team DDT. He gets the 3 count. Moxley and Kingston win. I thought it was a fine contest. We all knew this was going to happen, right? I would hope so at this point. Jesus said this was Max's best rap so far in AEW. I'm still a big fan of Buck Hunt when he did the music video for that against the Young Bucks, but yes. Dark Elite Eric laughing at the Newports line. ASAP Mox and Kingston shut down the Acclaim. They did. They shut down all their tough talk for the evening, but I'm happy for it. So it looks like they got the victory here, and I think they can call themselves #1 contenders. I feel like they've only won a couple tag team matches, but whatever, bro. They're gonna just jump up to that top spot.
I mean, that's what it seems like. I don't really.
But the top teams have also been defeated too at this point because #1 tag team, and I guess we ruined the main event, but you know what happens in that, and we'll get to it. Backstage, Chris Jericho is talking to his boy, the Iceman, Dean Malenko. They are backstage having a conversation. You have to explain to people why you do that now because they're going to have no clue what you're talking about.
So whenever you think about Dean Malenko, go back to the old WCW days where people used to do the back body drop on Dean Malenko. My man Dean would as soon as he hit it, to sell it, he would go like this and then flip over. So anytime Dean Malenko is mentioned, I can't help but do that.
This dude notices the weirdest things about people, bro. He even talks about like the Becky Lynch, like
the tongue lick.
Watch a Becky Lynch promo now. He has ruined it for you. Ruined it. He's just like, man, she licks her lips a lot during her promos. And I'm just like, how do you notice these things? And then he brought, like I said, the Dean Malenko thing. Now every time I see him do a back body drop, you'll see it every time. The bringing the head back and then coming forward. But Dean Malenko's backstage with Chris Jericho. Marvez is trying to get the scoop. Jericho tells him to F off. And then he's going to have to wait like everyone else. And Chris Jericho brings up that he's the man of 1,000 holds. How dare you interrupt us while we're talking? And he says, hey, you're the man of 1,004. And he's like, I think I forgot some. And he's basically giving props to Dean Malenko. I love their feud, actually, in WCW, if I can talk about that.
Their feud was great.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember when Dean Malenko dressed up as, what was the wrestler with the orange and black? Cyclope? I think it was Cyclope, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Or Damien. I don't remember. I think it's Cyclope. I'm 99% sure. Someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong. I remember we all thought Cyclope had won a battle royal, and all of a sudden we saw the Texas Cloverleaf. I'm like, what the hell? And it was Dean Malenko when he ripped the mask off. Dude, that shit was great.
Yes, it was. Dude, have you noticed, like, nobody, ever since he stopped wrestling, nobody really does the Texas Cloverleaf.
Your boy Sheamus does.
Sheamus don't do dick.
You can't say that on here. You can't say that.
He doesn't do the dickens, okay?
You were better off to say it the first way. You were better off that way. Where was I? Oh, BJ wanted me to show some love. Max does have an album out on Spotify and Apple Music.
Does he?
Y'all remember the Newport ads on billboards? We do not promote smoking cigarettes or vaping on this podcast. If you do it, cool. If you're young, don't smoke. That's my word of advice for you for the day. Hey, Zeus said, I believe only 3 or 4 matches tag-wise. I guess that's good enough to get them in, though. They beat some high-ranking teams. Quality of opponent matters, remember. Moxley and Kingston are undefeated. Ace brings up. What about the Lex Luger jump torch? I have no idea what you were speaking of. The Goldberg head shiver cell. Yeah, good old Bill. Derek talks about the lisp of Elias.
Who wants to walk with Elias?
Big Swole does a version and her Twitter name. Don't smoke, do gummies. Sure, sugar-free, though. Interesting. Then we get Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky talking to Tony Schiavone. They are talking and bragging about what they've done to Sting and Darby Allin. They had some good lines in here. I thought about just beating their ass and talking that ish. They congratulated Miro on becoming TNT champion, and it's because Ethan Page bragged about throwing Darby Allin down concrete stairs. The hell's wrong with Darby, bro?
Yo, Darby?
Boy's got a death wish.
Huge.
Afterwards, the lights go out, and then you know who's coming out. No. You know who comes out. The snow, the shaved ice is falling from the sky.
Shaved ice. It's Dad.
It's Sting. And Sting is coming out with his son, Darby Allin. And Darby brings the skateboard. And they basically go in there to whip ass. And Scorpio Sky and Paige take an ass whip. And Scorpio Sky gets put in Scorpion Deathlock. Sting can barely bend down anymore to do this. I'm not trying to ruin it for you. You just have to look at the illusion and believe it. But Sting is old, so show him some respect when he's in that ring.
Bet you the great Malenko will get down there.
Yo, chill. He might, though. David Malenko might still lock on that cloverleaf pretty mean. So afterwards, they take a beat down, and as they try to exit the stage, well, the Dark Order has awoken. They decide to show up and do something. Where were you when Hangman Page was getting his ass kicked? But they end up having to leave through the crowd because they've pissed a lot of people off, and that's what happens when you're jerk-offs like Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky.
Very true.
So, not bad. I like the heel work here that they did, and this is going to be a matchup now we know at Double or Nothing. And the Pinnacle cut a promo in a fancy restaurant. They go through and they kind of just reiterate what's been going on with the Inner Circle, the beef, and Shawn Spears grabs the waiter's head and tries to threaten him over what? I don't know. I missed that. If somebody knows if it was over like buttered bread or something, let me know. But eventually Tully, he's boss like, here, this is for your troubles, and throws him some money. I guess that makes everything all better. He would have took that money and sued him.
Man, money makes the world go round, I guess.
True that. But good promo here. Solid work by the Pinnacle. I thought everybody, whoever had their lines in there between FTR, Spears, MJF. Wardlow was quiet in this one again. I like it. Simple, easy, to the point. That's all we needed.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Right? Lex has a quirk where when he adjusts himself during promos, because his shirt is too small. Swole does a version of the Cloverleaf as well. I think, was she trained by Dean Malenko? She might have been.
Was she?
Okay. I can't remember. Somebody was, I believe, on the AEW roster. Robert says it's Dad. Darby's going to be reason Dark Side of the Ring gets a reboot in 15 years. I don't think Darby's going to be on Dark Side of the Ring. Darby's just going to be like bro, what were you thinking during this time period? Yeah, you're probably right, BJ. You probably will. Spears wanting his drink refilled, and the waiter overlooked him. The waiter did go from the wrong side of the table, I was told. I was told you're always supposed to go left to right.
Yes.
Well, he went right to left. So he deserved to have his head pushed down on the table, didn't he, Sean Spears? You bastard. You're mean, Sean. You're mean. It showed he's getting a short fuse that's trying to give him an edge. Okay. The Spears thing was goofy. Tully kind of saved it. Laugh out loud, cheesy 80s stuff. I love cheesy 80s stuff.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
All right, D, let's get this back on the road. Rebel, not Reba, with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Hikaru Shida, the AEW Women's Champion. By the way, she's got a pretty dope action figure I saw the model of today. Looked pretty good. If you get a chance, check it out. I think it's Series 6. Not an action figure collector. I've got a couple AEW ones, but that's
I might buy it.
He's lying.
What?
Until you see them prices on them. Those are expensive, bro.
Not like I don't want to say that. Never mind.
Yeah. So in this matchup, Shida looked like she was going to go for the lockjaw at one point. I don't know where she got a black glove from, but she was going for it.
Rebel pulled it out of her trunks.
That's weird. That's mad weird.
I think.
Rebel uses a crutch on her while the referee is distracted by Britt Baker. But in the end, really quickly, Rebel also, man, I keep coming back to this Tony Khan thing because we found out a lot of cool tidbits just by listening to Tony today. We found out that Rebel was told by Tony Khan to wrestle like Bobby Heenan, wrestle like a manager. And I think that brings up some interesting points into how she's going to move, the things that she's going to do in the ring. If you remember, Bobby Heenan, when he wrestled, he was a wrestler actually at one point in his time. But he was so good as a manager that he bumped like a manager. You don't take the bumps like a wrestler because I don't want people to know you're trained.
Right.
Look like a manager in the ring. And I thought she did a good job of that tonight. Because we all know Rebel used to wrestle in Impact Wrestling. So she knows what she's doing, but she looked like a manager tonight. Weird little thing that I just want to put out there. Rebel taps out in the Big Johnny. My muffler fell out. Stretch muffler. Stretch muffler for the W. If you don't know where that's from, YouTube it after you're done watching this. You'll have a good laugh. Britt Baker attacks Shida after with the belts and hits her with a curb stomp on the AEW Women's Championship. Could we be seeing a new champion at the pay-per-view, Derek?
It is possible. It is possible. At this point in time, whoever wins, I will not be mad at it.
The doctor will see you. Let's see here. We got a bunch of people here. Eric says, Rebel, keep Rebel out of the ring. She's doing that on purpose. She knows how to wrestle. Chad says, what's up, Conrad? What's good, Chad? Thank you for joining us tonight, brother. And he said Dusty. Yes, it's a funny Dusty Rhodes story about mufflers. Just type in Big Johnny muffler. Yeah,
Big Johnny, my muffler fell out.
You will die laughing when you hear this story, I'm telling you. And then you'll always know what we're talking about when we say that. You'll always know because it'll just randomly come up.
Wait, but it ain't funnier than that Oh
yeah, that was Robert. Robert found some class. I don't know which one that was about the Ultimate Warrior. We look up some of the old like classic wrestling promos, and this dude yelled at Ultimate Warrior and Sting when they were a tag team, the Blade Runners, and he was like, "You two big guys come out here." And this dude looked like Zeb Coulter. And he was like, "Y'all big and you're bad. You been shooting steroids in your booties." And I was just like, how could they not laugh when he said that? Like, what? Shoot your steroids in your booties. And I'm like, he's the heel. What is going on right now? We're full of them.
Dude, when you showed me that, dude, I couldn't, when I went home, dude, I was crying.
I got another match for you to look up after, too. The Great Antonio versus the Great Antonio Inoki. I heard it from my boys on the Bombcast. Brian Williams and Graham were talking about this, and I absolutely was crying, laughing, listening to them talk about this. It's a classic match. If you've never seen it, you will enjoy it. Let's see. Chad says, hopefully Darby gets his title back sometime down the road. I think they built up a nice rematch for it.
Oh, yeah.
There is potential there for it to happen. I feel like Cody's not done with the TNT title too, though. I feel like everybody, once they get that belt, they become a little attached to it.
Yeah.
Weird. We'll see what happens, though, Chad. You're probably right on the money with that, though. First person I've heard say it in here. EVP status. Kenny Omega and Don Callis are catching up with Orange Cassidy after Orange Cassidy looks like shit. He looks like when my boy from the Mets took that baseball to the face.
Oh,
what was it? Pillar?
Kevin Pillar, yeah.
Bro, when he took that, Orange Cassidy's eyes looked like that to me. Like his eyes were darkened a little bit. I thought he was hurting real bad. And they kind of showed the highlights of him like getting dropped down on his neck with that Liger bomb by Pac. And they're in there and they're like, hey, everybody out of here. EVP's got to check on the talent. And that was the way for him to get Chris Statlander and the best friends out of the training room so he could talk to him along. And he was like, oh, you can stay, Doc. You're doing work. So they're in there and they're trying to talk to him. And they're kind of making like jokes about concussions and stuff. I thought that was kind of weird a little bit. But maybe because it was in character. I don't know. I wouldn't be making jokes about that shit if I were them.
Right.
You got to take that stuff serious. Because last week I didn't know if he was going to make it to the pay-per-view to have this match. Because he took some brutal bumps, and they're in there trying to speak to him, and they basically have him they want him to sign a piece of paper saying that he won't participate in the triple threat. Kenny doesn't want to lose the belt without getting pinned, apparently. And he said, you'll get your title shot at a later date, kid. Just sign it. Orange Cassidy does the slowest rip apart of a contract that you could ever imagine. Okay, we get it. We get it because he turned it sideways and he's going to do it again. We get it. And they said, luckily, we came prepared with a backup. So take this, think about it, and we'll see what you want to do. But the match is still on for right now. But next week, Orange Cassidy has the opportunity to give his answer. I think we all know you're not going to give up the world title for this. That's hot garbage. Inner Circle cut a promo. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. They all talked, including Hager, and they basically accepted the Stadium Stampede challenge, and I like Chris Jericho saying that they were going to, I think he said stomp their faces and piss on their graves.
Yeah.
So I like it that they're not afraid of this. Derek, I don't know how you feel, man. Could the Inner Circle end at the pay-per-view to you? I'm asking you these questions because I don't think you're going to be on the preview, or the preview for the Double or Nothing. But what do you think? Are the Inner Circle looking favorable to you?
No, not at the moment.
You would have them lose, you think?
Yes.
Why? Why though? Is it time? Why would it be time to break them up?
You
You said this about the Elite, the beginning of the end.
Yeah, we'll start it. Hangman Adam Page. I told you. I called that. But I don't know, because it's been a long time since Sammy's done anything. It's been a long time since Ortiz and Santana have done anything.
Yeah, they've been on the back burner lately, and Santana hasn't been there.
Right. Even Jake. It's even Chris Jericho. They haven't really been doing much individually.
Right. They're in a big feud, and I get it. It keeps them busy right now.
Right.
In this.
And I think this would be the time to say, all right, let's take a step back. We got to focus on ourselves because we're just not working as a team right now.
Okay.
So maybe not so much a dismantle of the.
Well, if they lose, it's over. So this is like, who do you book to win this?
I think I would still book them.
The Pinnacle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you end this feud either. Like, they've been going back and forth. You started with the Blood and Guts. Now you have a Stadium Stampede match. What else is after this? I don't know what you would do. But there's a story to tell with this. We'll have to wait. But they have accepted the matchup here with the Pinnacle. Stadium Stampede, once again, down in Jacksonville. I think it's going to be fun. We don't know if it's going to be like the elements like we had last year because people are going to be back for this show. So how do you do that as well? Very interesting. And then we get Jade Cargill. She is interrupted by Mark Sterling Esquire, who was the lawyer for MJF in his matchup with Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. And he says that Vicky Guerrero and all these other people, they already manage female clients. they have an issue, a conflict of issue, or whatever he said. I can't remember. I'm tired now.
Conflict of interest.
Thank you, sir.
Gotcha.
That's why you're here. So conflict of interest, and they start bringing up some of these other things, and I'm like, damn, really good points here. And he says, but I want to work for Jade Cargill. And I was like, oh, okay, he's selling it. He's selling it. And Jade Cargill does nothing. What are we doing with these promos? This better have a good payoff, is all I know. I hope they've got something for us when it comes down to this.
Jimmy Hart.
Could you imagine? Mouth of the Sauce here, baby. Back in AEW. With that damn megaphone. I don't think Jimmy Hart's giving up that Legends deal he's got. He's got life pretty sweet right now.
He's not giving that up.
Right? Jesus has chimed in. He says, I think Santana and Ortiz are going to join another faction.
I would like to see them by themselves.
Maybe they'll work in a faction, though.
I don't know about that.
They were at one point LAX with Diamante and Conan.
Yeah, but who's gonna fill that spot?
What, the Conan spot?
And Diamante.
Diamante. She's there.
Is she?
Well, she's been on Dark. She's there. She doesn't have anything to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
She's kind of being like, she's been stuck because her partner got the boot to the coot. Got booted out. So, I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, that's Jesus' prediction. So, we'll see what happens going forward with that. Let's get into this NWA Women's Title match. This contest was solid, bro. I think if anyone argued match of the night, I would. You have a lot of contention here for this match, the opener, hell, even the main event. I think you can argue. Yeah. This was a solid, nice back and forth between both women. Robert, even when we were watching this together, he commented on Red Velvet's improvement, and I thought that was very tremendous. Red Velvet at one point goes for a standing moonsault off the apron. She catches this joint flush in the face. Serena is down. And she's been out with an injury for a little bit, so I was like, please don't get hurt here. Please don't get hurt here. And eventually we see the corkscrew kick, that little SOS, little trouble in paradise. And she goes for the kick, near fall out of it. And then eventually Red Velvet is going for a moonsault. Serena reverses, getting the knees up, and then this is where we get into trouble. She goes for a power bomb for the stack pen, near fall. Doesn't happen, but then she locks in that tequila sunrise.
Tequila sunrise.
She gets out of it the first time. The second time, though, she focuses in on that knee, and she is slamming the knee into the mat over and over and over again. And she almost has her foot touching her head.
I like what she was doing with that. That was. You know what? When it was used back in the day, it was just used. It wasn't emphasized.
Serena Deeb has been an absolute, like, you know when it's Christmas and your parents are bringing you presents? She's the present out of the closet that your mom busts out. You're like, oh, shit, I got another thing. Right. Serena Deeb has been that person for the AEW, like, women's division. She has done a great job on their television programs, just providing great matches. Like you said, it's the little things that she does. Yeah. After that, she taps out and she gets the victory. I think Billy Corgan has to be happy how his title is being represented on AEW Dynamite. It's been in some great matches, sometimes even better than AEW's own women's title matches.
This is true.
I'm not mad at it. And I think this year in 2021, the AEW women's division has been on fire, but the NWA title has been too. We cannot overlook that. We get a promo in the back by your boy, Pac. Yo, stop doing that damn exercise he was doing. Dude is super strong with the straight arm lifts. He just goes in on Kenny Omega, and he just talks about how he's going to beat him and become the champion. He has beaten him on pay-per-view, though, technically. When Kenny Omega was having those rough singles wins, Pac was one of the ones who beat him. Do you remember that match? We were shocked. Like, Kenny went down. We're like, what the hell? Right. He lost? Really good. Really good stuff.
Pac has always been a good wrestler.
This is true.
I just think he, in other situations, he would just get the short end of the stick.
Right. I think this was in regard to Diamante from the chat. Dark Elite Eric says she's there. I've seen her in tags with new partners on Dark, so they're probably just trying to figure out what to do with her. Deeb and Velvet was match of the night in BJ's opinion. My man Chad says Red Velvet is awesome. 100% agree with you on that, Chad.
She is.
He said, I feel like the NWA women's title is AEW's IC belt. They are workhorse matches. Ooh, okay. Okay. Red Velvet put up a great showing tonight against the Vet. I like Red Velvet. The women's match was really good. Deeb's work is so smooth, bros. Eric, I'm agreeing with you. Jade needs to have a match at the pay-per-view, Jesus. Jesus, who you booking your girl Jade against? You got to give me something here. Like I said, man, we've had tremendous matches tonight. We've had tremendous matches even when it was Christian Cage and Seidel in the opener tonight. We just talked about that match. We had a good character match with Shida and Rebel, not Reba. And that was really good earlier. We even talked about the microphone skills with the Acclaimed Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Was it a pretty match? No, but it was physical and what it needed to be. And this NWA Women's Championship match was tremendous. I had a lot of fun watching that one.
Yeah, no, I can agree with anybody who says that this may have been their match of the night. This was a really good match.
Right? And then we move on to the next matchup here. Austin Gunn with the Nightmare Family versus Anthony Ogogo with the Factory. I'm not going to bore you with all the details here. Small notes. Austin Gunn, Derek brought this up. He's talked about how Austin Gunn looks just like his father in the ring. The punches, the movements, the everything.
Everything that he's done in the ring, very reminiscent of Billy.
Yeah, and I think that's a compliment.
Yes.
No matter what you want to say about Billy Gunn still to this day is smooth as hell in the ring. The dude's an athlete. To this day. To this day. He's an ass man. Anywho, Gunn is bleeding in this matchup after taking a punch to the gut from Anthony Ogogo. They are making Anthony Ogogo's hands deadly in this match. So he does another punch to the stomach, and right before the ref can call it off, Austin Gunn grabs the ref's hand and says, no, he's not giving up on this. He's still going in, but he's bleeding. And at first, we all thought Ogogo was bleeding, but it's from him for when he coughed it up, I guess, from taking the punch. And then they do a third punch, a pop-up punch to the face, bro. Brutal. And he is knocked out. The ref calls off the match at that point. Austin Gunn can't take any more. And there's a little bit of an exchange with the flags and stuff between Cody and Ogogo. Honestly, in all of this, we talked about Cody's promo last week, and Cody could have gotten to the point faster, I believe. But I think Anthony Ogogo comes off as a baby face in his explanation of why he hates America. And I'm like, dang, that's a lot of the points a lot of people say on Twitter and stuff every day. I'm like, I think he's going to get cheered.
You probably will.
We'll see, because Cody brought it up. It's not cool to love America either, and I think he might get booed. I think he's telling himself what's going to happen in this. The deliveries might end up differently than we all think. But if you guys are feeling Ogogo, let me know. Let's see who else we got in here. We got a bunch of people joining in. Let's see here. He said, have Danny Santana and Ortiz. Danny Limelight. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's officially on the AEW payroll yet, but he could be. He's also been doing stuff in New Japan Strong. Good point, Jesus. BJ with the hot takes, and I'm not hating them. Sick, what's going on, Sick? Appreciate you being in here, Sick, on the Twitch side of things tonight. D versus Jade. Okay. Thank you, Sick, for the chats. Showing me some love on the shout-outs. Billy Gunn's got the best strikes at AEW. Billy Gunn's got great strikes.
I will 100% agree with that.
Chad says, Conrad, what is Austin Gunn's brother's name? Colton Gunn. Austin Gunn might have some broken ribs, A said. We'll see what they announce for him. He's going to be singing Judas next week with those joints. So Cody better put him over. I think he will, Jesus. I have a feeling Cody's losing this match.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to see Cody take the job. I don't know why everyone hates Cody. Cody doesn't, out of everybody, out of the like EVPs, Cody puts people over the most, for the record. Like, I don't know if people see this. I'm just like, damn, people just hate Cody, bro. I don't get it. But
well, you win some, you lose some. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
That's his. It is what it is. Do not let him say this, people. We go backstage. SCU highlights and promos from last week. As we know, SCU lost their tag title match, and they are done as a team. Daniels has been really depressed, even on BTE and everything else that we've watched so far. And Cass says he's on a new path afterwards. Daniels walked away like he seemed upset by everything, and they kind of had words between themselves. You couldn't hear it on the microphone side of things. But Cass says he's on a new path, and it's to hunt down the elite. He's going to make their lives a living hell for what they did, probably because they cost his best friend his career, at least as far as we see it right now.
Right.
Do you think Daniels is done? You think he's got one more match in him? I feel like you can't end it like that for him.
I feel like he needs a title.
And he looks like shit. Like his eyes all stitched up. I'm like, damn, bro.
I think he needs a title. At least one title.
What would you do? Maybe a TNT reign for him?
I would do a TNT reign.
Yeah, Daniels is the man. Like, I absolutely appreciate him. Even Curry, I love Curry, man. I'll tell you guys, that's like one of my favorite gimmicks. Konnichiwa, do. It's just great, man. Daniels has always been very entertaining, and I always felt he never got his just due. Like, I always felt like people never respected him enough to show him the love he deserved. Miro and Lance Archer have a promo against each other. Miro had some great lines in here. I thought Archer did too. They both looked really good. Miro definitely crushed this though with the Jake the Snake lines. Like, you have some old man holding you back, and there's going to be no yoga that's going to stop me from doing what I want to him. And I was just like, all right, Miro, this is getting real to you, huh, bro?
Right.
But Miro was great. This is what I'm talking about. The cuffs are off of him now. They slowly brought him in so you couldn't say, oh, they're just pushing another WWE guy. You ain't got that excuse now. So now what's the problem with Miro? Maybe you just don't like him. That's fine. That's cool. But now you have no excuse for complaining about him.
He's not speaking enough Bulgarian.
He doesn't need to, because tonight he got a really good promo. We find out next week Miro is defending the TNT Championship against Dante Martin. I tried to write all these down. We've got Hangman Adam Page versus Joey Janela, weigh-in with Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogogo. We celebrate the Inner Circle, and we honor Hikaru Shida's one-year title range, and Orange Cassidy answers Kenny Omega. Very, very good stuff here. Remember Billy Gunn's punches in the old AKI games?
Oh.
Hold that B button. No mercy.
Dude, that was hard to block, wrestling against him.
Jesus says, I like Cody. I just want to see him put more people over.
So he put over half the roster.
Yeah, he does. He like I said, he's done a lot. Kaz's promo was fire. Yeah, Kaz was on point. And rest in peace to his father. I know his dad had just passed away, so Kaz was just on point tonight. I think he's just been putting his everything into his work, wrestling. Jesus said Diego should retire at a pay-per-view. I can agree with that.
If we do that, if they go that route, have him wrestle for a title, get the title, and then they're like, you know what?
Oh, and then retire with the belt?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I like it.
You know wrestlers never like to do that, though. They like to put someone over on the way out.
Well, let's go against the grain this time.
Chad's got a question. He says, Conrad, when will we see Shaq in the ring again? Plus, he must be sitting in his magic lamp waiting for a rematch against Cody.
It's 20 points, Chad.
So wait, what are we saying here? Do you think you see Shaq and Cody again?
Nah.
I think you could bring it up. I think not right now, but in like a year or two, you could bring it up again. I think if Shaq still wanted to do it, if he could, I don't know, he might be feeling it.
I guess. No.
I would laugh at it if they brought up, "Hey Cody, remember when I beat you with hoops?" That was Jade. Oops. Actually, I could even see Shaq saving Cody out of respect. Okay. B-Boy Skyline says Miro is awesome. I can definitely appreciate that. B-Boy Skyline, I don't know if you checked out my interview yesterday with the infamous poet, but I gave you a shout out in there for the Tupac poetry book you let me borrow. Had a good little conversation about that in there. So big shout out to you for that. I like Miro and Archer's promo, Jesus said. Miro isn't losing the TNT title anytime soon. Okay, all right. And don't miss Kazam, GOAT movie. I actually do like Kazam. Big fan of when the food was raining. And when he slam dunked that dude, when he rolled him into the ball. Derek's favorite Shaq movie is Steel, by the way. If you guys want to send him that, please feel free.
Absolutely.
And any Shaq Fu video games you can find.
Shaq Fu was dope.
I had it. I'm not gonna front.
Shaq Fu was dope. I liked it.
Shaq Fu was rough a little bit too. Though.
It was, but I thought it was dope.
Man, I used to be pissed playing that game. You get aggravated, bro. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this main event here. The AEW tag titles are on the line. The Varsity Blondes with Julia Hart, their cheerleader now, versus the Young Bucks with Don Callis and Brandon Cutler.
I actually like them having a cheerleader now.
Yeah, they're the Varsity Blondes.
It makes sense now because you've been called the Varsity Blondes for a good amount of time. You didn't have like the jackets or anything.
I will say this. I don't like the Varsity Blondes names. It reminds me of Alex Riley a little bit, if you guys remember him when he was with The Miz, the Varsity Villain. It seems childish a little bit. Like, you're a grown man now. Why are we talking about your varsity days in here? But the only team that I felt like that pulled that off were Rick Steiner and Mike Rotunda and the Steiner brothers, who could wear like the jackets and stuff and get away with it. I don't know what it is about it. And that's no disrespect to the Blondes. Am I saying it's not working? Definitely not. I just think it's kind of weird. It's one of those things that I'm always just like, they got to get rid of this soon, right?
Right.
So I don't know how much time it's got. Rob says the Bucks sneaker rotation is back to the Dior ones. I will not repeat that, what you wrote in the parentheses. Rob took the notes from me here at the end. Bad words were said about their sneaker game. Rob's a big sneaker fan, if you guys don't know. Didn't hate Steel, never played Shaq Fu or the Wu-Tang joint.
Ooh, the Wu-Tang joint was dope.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And B-Boy Skyline said F Shaq Fu.
Yo, you're hating.
I love the name. A-Rye was dry. Charisma, black hole. Don't like the warm Welcome to the Jungle ripoff. Okay. So the Buck sneaker game, they went back to the Dior's tonight. Nick and Griff start things off, and the Varsity Blondes show some great chemistry to open up the match, and they surprise the Bucks with their fire. Pillman tags in and hits Matt with a flurry of arm drags, little Ricky the Dragon Steamboat-esque type arm drags or offense in the matchup. And the Bucks regain control, and Nick executes an assisted rope walk into a double stomp on Griff onto the stage and dives on to Pillman Jr. The Bucks pose as we head to a picture-in-picture restaurant quality. The Bucks continue to dominate egotistically during the picture-in-picture, and they do overdo the posing. A bunch of posers he wrote, if you ask me. I hate Rob because I read this stuff when he writes it in here. Griff tags in and mounts a comeback and executes a dive onto the floor on both Young Bucks. Derek, big fan of Griff. What? You don't like Griff? Stiffness in the legs.
Dude, you gotta bend your legs, bro.
Maybe he just doesn't do it. Maybe that's just not his thing. But I will say Griff looks a lot smoother in the ring recently. I don't know what it is.
He does.
Like, I feel like he just knows his way in there more now.
He does. I noticed it before when he started getting real smooth with everything. I know I would say, oh, it's looking better. Still gotta be able to bend them legs though.
Derek just hates the non-fluidity and movement from him.
Listen, stiffest legs in America.
And he does leg drops.
Horrible.
Eventually, Pillman gets the tag in and gets double teamed until he causes Nick to super kick Matt, gets a near fall, and Matt locks in a sharpshooter. Pillman had a great super kick, by the way. That was after that. Matt locks in the sharpshooter, and Nick sprays Pillman with a can of cold spray. Julia Hart, by some miracle, gets Rick Knox's attention. Not a miracle, because Rick Knox is always distracted. To get the cold spray can, he removes the can, but Cutler tosses the second can, and Matt Jackson sprays Julia in the face with it. She went backwards and fell over the stairs, too. Tremendous. Afterwards, Matt locks in the sharpshooter again, and Nick comes in, he does like a face buster. See ya. And Pillman can't move anymore. He tried to get to the ropes. He can't. He's forced to tap out. That is the end. And during their celebration, things look good. And then casually, here come Newport and Oral Sessions. Kingsland and Moxley just walk into the ring. They're ready to go. And they just casually walk in and they're celebrating. Yo, first off, Brandon Cutler is a punk ass for dipping on his boys like that. He just left them. They turned around. They're like, what? And then they saw them. They're like, oh, shit. No. We don't want any problems with you guys. And the beef goes down. And they eventually get put into a pair of sleepers. And they are down and out. And as talked about earlier with the chat, bro, these dudes ganked these boys' sneakers. I don't kill. I steal. And they took the sneakers off of their feet. Eddie Kingston started it. And then he took the socks off of Nick Jackson, too. He's probably like, these worth some money, too. Rob suggested that they take the sneakers time together and find like an electrical pole, throw them over it. I think they should do something like that.
They should.
It could definitely be fun. This was good though. I can't be mad. The Bucks got checked. We'll have to see what's gonna happen here. But that was AEW Dynamite in a nutshell for tonight, man. Derek, what did you think, man?
I thought it was a good show. Definitely now going over every single match, I would have to say the women's match was my match of the night.
I respect it. Jesus said match of the night for him was the tag match. Like I said, I think you could pick several matches tonight and say that it was yours. Check the Bucks' new bio update. Now I got to go to Twitter. You guys give me a follow down below. Let me move that out the way so you can see it. At EPW Show on Twitter, EPW Show on Instagram, and Everything Pro Wrestling on Facebook and YouTube. Show us some love, man. We are at 1.41 now already, but keep the subscribes coming in, man. I want to try to get to like 10K. Then I can get a Pro Wrestling Tee store going for us. But let's see what the Young Bucks' new bio is. This better be something good here.
If you will.
Not cool, not freaking cool, guys. They're going to be whining about this. I like it. I love it. Thank you, B-Boy Skyline, for letting us know that. Chad says, I'm glad Eddie Kingston turned his life around by teaming up with Jon Moxley. Makes sense. He was always a good trash talker with TNA and Impact Wrestling and NWA. Yeah, good points. Good point. And let's see here. Dark Elite Eric says, bro, that spray to the face for first Dynamite was too funny. Yeah, I laughed at it. I'm not going to front. For those who don't know, don't forget tomorrow AEW Games is posting something. If you are interested in the All Elite Wrestling GM mode, I guess they're going to have something tomorrow with Aubrey, that big announcement she was talking about. Check it out. I know there's a lot of wrestling video game fans in the chat. Hopefully we can get some new games soon and we can stream them, because the only thing I've been able to stream for us on Everything Pro Wrestling has been Fire Pro stuff. And I've just been very busy. Tough to stream, but hopefully we can get some more weekday ones in there as well, man. Tokyo says, my brother hates AEW. He roasts the whole roster. That's his opinion.
A little bit column A, a little bit column B.
Stop that. He said, show me the console. I got PS4, bro. The console stuff ain't happening right now.
It's supposed to be a drop tomorrow. Target.
Y'all send me the links.
801.
Send me the links. 808s and heartbreaks, probably for me. But yeah, the console stuff should be coming eventually. I would rather have them work on the game and have some good stuff, man. He said, stream some No Mercy or DOR Stop Playing.
See, told you, bro.
I don't have me and Cam cannot find the Nintendo 64, bro.
Yo, listen.
On
the hunt.
Yeah. But everybody, what did you think of tonight's show? Derek, give me your thoughts on it overall. Like, what would you say out of 10 for this one?
Give it an 8.
Okay.
Give it an 8.
All right. We'll see how they build up to the show, too. They basically went over everything for Double or Nothing. Again, let me know if you're doing a discussion table. Yeah, I might end up doing one original Biggie. I'm not sure. I know there was someone who I wanted to get on. I kind of owe them a makeup, too. So we'll see. But we'll try to get some discussion in on the wrestling video games coming up here. But we've taken up enough time for tonight. let's see. Everybody's giving their grades if they're still in here. Jesus said 8.5 for me. Derek said 8. I'm in the grades. I would probably say this show was a nice. I'm such a jerk. 7.5 for me. It's not bad. It's just, Robert says I grade on a curve. He's like, if you were a professor, I would hate you. So I'll accept that. I'll take that as a compliment. Ace at 9 out of 10 for him. He enjoyed this show tonight. Okay. Respect. Like I said, guys, we got the Double or Nothing preview and predictions coming up. We have a special guest for that one. I will probably announce that really soon, but you guys are going to be really excited for who we got coming on. First time ever onto the podcast. Next week, we're going to try and come up with an idea for something. I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll think of something during the week. And if you guys listen to us, make sure, even if you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you're listening, hit the subscribe button. Give us 5-star rating. Helps us in that algorithm. We want to be in the top wrestling podcast. We're doing a good job. We're pretty high up there, but we could always use more. So even if you're listening on YouTube and you guys are like, oh, I haven't given you a rating yet, go on Spotify, like us. Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. If you guys put your name down on there, I'll try to give you a shout out if I see it. Show us some love, man. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Chad said, great show, but I have to 5 them at an 8.5. I get it. Little halfer. Yeah. So we will be back next week with the show. Make sure you join us. Hit the like and subscribe button. And if you guys watch this after the fact, leave me a comment down below. I will respond to you eventually. But for myself, for Derek, and for everything going on in the world of everything pro wrestling, we are out. Thank you. Peace.
Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes. By the fans, for the fans, not many in this can understand, this the podcast to show you who I am, Conrad Cushman, the legend in the plans, please listen every day to the showcase, the opinions and knowledge that anyone can take, showing you how it is done, proving I am number one, what a legend becomes. This is now my time to show you that I am here, this podcast just to make it loud and clear, by the fans, for the fans, not many whose head can understand everything pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast here for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinion and the lesson, yes. Everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you. Listen to the podcast for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinions, the lesson, yes.